Happy morning, students. Can you all imagine your life without mobile phones, refrigerators, fan, bike, car, TV, AC, furnitures, and even smaller things like pen, paper, soaps, plastics, paints, medicines, and the most important and essential things like oxygen, food, shelter, and cloth? It's highly impossible to live without these things, right? Do you know from where do we get all these things and what are all present in these things? Let us know about this in this chapter, metals and non-metals. All these things which are essential and inevitable part in our life are made up of elements. The elements are present everywhere in the space, atmosphere, under the earth crust, rocks, waters, in plants, animals and also inside us. These elements are used to do a lot of things which has made us to live a comfortable life. Elements are of 118 in number up to date. Out of these 118 elements, 92 are naturally occurring and remaining are artificially synthesized in the laboratory by the scientist. These elements can be classified into three groups based on their properties. They are metals, non-metals and metalloids. We all know that everything in this universe is made up of smaller particles called as atoms. Elements also have atoms inside it. These atoms never stay alone. They always combine together and will be present as a compound. There are millions of compounds used by us that are made by the combination of atoms of same element or different element. These atoms have electrons present inside it. These electrons are involved in the formation of a compound. For example, to form water, two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom has to get combined. So, electron in hydrogen atom and electron in oxygen atoms creates a bond between the elements and makes them to stay together as a water, which is H2O. All the compounds are formed in the same way. Each element has unique number of electrons present inside their atom. For example, hydrogen has 1, oxygen has 8 electrons, sodium has 11 electrons and chlorine has 17 electrons. Some of these elements during the compound formation tries to donate it extra electron and some of the elements accepts that electron and they both stay together as a stable compound. Such type of element that donates its electron to attain stable configuration becomes positively charged. These elements that are electropositive in nature by losing its electron is called as metals. The elements that accepts the electron to attain the stable configuration becomes negatively charged, and these elements that are electronegative in nature by gaining its electron is called as nonmetals. So metals are electropositive in nature and nonmetals are electronegative in nature. The physical and chemical properties of metals and nonmetals depends on their electropositive and electronegative nature. The third group of elements are called as metalloids. These elements possess the property of both metals and nonmetals, so they are called as metalloids. Few examples for metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium and polonium. These metalloids act as a semiconductor and are used in electronic components. Now let us learn in detail how metals and nonmetals are different from each other based on their physical property. Whenever we talk about metals, for most of us, iron, copper, aluminum, gold or silver comes to our mind, isn't it? How do they all appear? They all are solid, hard and appear lustrous, that is shiny. Whereas when we think about non-metals like oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, sulfur or phosphorus, they are all gases and are soft solids and appear dull. So the first difference is based on their appearance. All metals are lustrous, that is shiny in appearance, and all non-metals are dull in appearance. But there is an exception in non-metals that are shiny in appearance. Can you guess? Yes, right. Diamond and iodine are lustrous non-metals. Remaining all the non-metals are dull in appearance. The second property is state. All the metals are solid in state except one metal, which is mercury. Mercury is a only liquid metal, whereas all the non-metals are either solid or gaseous except bromine. Bromine is a only liquid non-metal. The third property is hardness. All metals are hard except sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are the soft metal that can be easily cut with a knife. Non-metals are soft except diamond. Diamond is the hardest natural substance in the world. The next property is conductivity. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. You will be surprised to know that the metal silver is the best conductor compared to copper and aluminum, which is usually used in electric wires. And still there are two exceptions. Lead and mercury are the poor conductors. All the non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity except graphite. So the graphite present in the tip of your pencil or inside a dry electric cell can conduct electricity. The fifth property is malleability. The property of an element to form thin sheets when they are beaten or hammered is called as malleability. All metals are malleable. The best example is aluminium, which is made into a foil used to wrap the food items. Gold is considered to be the most malleable metal. The next property is ductility. The property of an element to form wires is called as ductility. All the metals can be drawn into thin wires. The best example is copper wire. And like malleability, gold is the most ductile metal. You will be surprised to know that 1 gram of gold can be stretched up to 2 km in the form of a wire. The next property is sonority. Have you heard the ringing sound of a temple bells? It is because of sonorous property of metals. All the metals when hit with each other produce a ringing sound, whereas non-metals, even though they are solid, they are not malleable, ductile or sonorous because when hammered or beaten they go as a powder as they are soft in nature. The difference between metals and non-metal is their density. We know that all the metals are hard, so they are highly dense except lithium, which is the lightest metal, and the metal with high density is osmium and iridium, whereas as the non-metals are soft, they have less density except diamond and graphite. The ninth property of metals and non-metal is melting and boiling point. As metals are hard and solid, they melt or boil at high temperature. There is an exception for the sodium and potassium as they are soft metal. They both have low melting point and low boiling point. And two other metals, gallium and cesium, they will melt when kept in your palm. All the non-metals, as they are soft in nature, they have low melting point and low boiling point except diamond and graphite. So diamond and graphite can melt at high temperature and boil at high temperature. The last property is tensile strength. The ability of the metals to resist breaking when they are stretched is called as tensile strength. The best example is tungsten. The thin filament of tungsten present inside the electric bulb shows metals are having high tensile strength, whereas non-metals do not show any tensile strength. So in this session we have learned that metals are the elements that are hard, solid, conduct heat and electricity, malleable, ductile, sonorous, lustrous with high melting point and boiling point and high density. And about non-metals which are soft and dull, poor conductors of heat and electricity with low melting point and low boiling point and also low density. Thank you students.